Hello, welcome back to Authors on iTours. I'm Lauren Carr. Now, put your seats in the upright positions and fasten your seatbelts because today we are doing a review of FlightLog, the novel adventures of a stewardess wannabe who becomes a flight attendant. This is a fun, new historical novel that you don't want to miss.
Hello, this is Lauren Carr, and welcome to Authors on iTours, a podcast devoted to authors, book bloggers, and other book lovers alike.
Welcome back. And now let me tell you about FlightLog, the novel adventures of a stewardess wannabe who becomes a flight attendant. The year is 1978. People didn't have home computers, video games, or answering machines. We rented our telephones from local phone companies and hand-wrote letters. The terms politically correct and African American had not yet been coined. Eating disorders and alternate lifestyles were not yet common household phrases. Only strippers wore thongs, which made perfect sense to me as they only caused one to gyrate their hynie in a desperate attempt to dislodge the bothersome wedgie. So writes Sherry Van Ness, an unassuming girl from the burbs of Kansas who's about to embark on the adventure of her life when she signs up to become a stewardess. But it's much more turbulent than this doughy-eyed 19-year-old ever imagined as she tries to navigate past grouchy passengers, fly-by-night relationships, and the unforgiving, relentless, humiliating monthly weigh-ins. Some dreams come true. Others require a vomit bag. That's not to say that Sherry doesn't enjoy herself. Au contraire. There are friends to be made and men to be made, and the maid who made up her room in New York was so nice. Yes, the work is difficult at times and the money isn't always good, but there are perks. Free flights and an endless supply of the tiny vodka bottles and salted peanuts. Peanut allergies hadn't been invented yet. Like Dorothy Gale sans Toto, Sherry leaves Kansas and finds herself amidst a cast of characters as strange as the Scarecrow and the Munchkins were to Dorothy. Her whirlwind journey takes her from innocent, insecure stewardess to mature and confident flight attendant. Or does she? Book your flight now for this very enjoyable read. Put your seat back in the upright position and enjoy the ride. And now, to meet the author. Susan Jo Humphrey, the daughter of a diplomat, was born in Izmir, Turkey, where she lived for 3 years. She also lived in Korea and Thailand before returning home to the United States with her family as a teenager. She has traveled all over the United States and has called several parts of this country home. Her many plane rides as a child convinced her that she must one day become a stewardess. Suze was a flight attendant for 13 of her 25 years with United Airlines. She began penning FlightLog with the help of the Naperville Writers Group outside of Chicago. There, she published in their annual pamphlet, had a humor piece printed in an online magazine, and contributed many articles to local newspapers. At the time of this publication, she is busy working on FlightLog 2. Away from the keyboard, Suze enjoys yoga, reading, cooking, listening to music, and playing her guitar. She still enjoys mapping out travel to faraway places she's never been, as well as planning return trips to her favorite spots. Suze currently lives in Southern California and has 2 grown children. Today, she's in healthcare, where she's worked since 2014. Suze was the baby of her flight attendant classes and the senior student in her nursing classes. She's eager to write that story as well. A novice baby boomer RN begins her career as a travel nurse just as a pandemic breaks out. And now for my review of FlightLog, the novel adventures of a wannabe stewardess who grows into a flight attendant. Set in 1978, FlightLog takes readers along with a naive young Sherry as she grows from a small-town girl from Kansas seeking glamour as a stewardess to become a confident and mature flight attendant. FlightLog is written in first person, so we are actually in Sherry's head. And since we actually are in Sherry's head, then you don't, contrary to what the title may make you think, that she's a little bit of an airhead who just wants to be a stewardess and a sex symbol, that Sherry is actually smart and resourceful. As a matter of fact, in the novel, she graduates basically at the top of her class as a flight attendant. Sherry and her friends are likable and relatable. Suze writes with such an easygoing style, and her novel is such fun that you can lose sight that this is actually a piece of historical fiction. It captures an era when stewardesses and nurses and women in certain fields were viewed as sex symbols. And you're getting it from Sherry's point of view as somebody who is actually in this position. Sherry starts out wanting to be a sex symbol. She's actually upset when they announce in her training classes that they're no longer and they're no longer stewardesses. They are now flight attendants. And you learn that that flight attendants are, as they are now viewed today, as important members of the flight crew, and they do have an important job. FlightLog moves at a brisk, fun pace. And it is, a lot of fun to read. Now, I actually listened to the audiobook version, and the narrator, who was Angela, did a wonderful job of capturing Sherry's personality and the personalities of the other characters in the books. The only criticism that I would have about the audio book version, and other people may not view it as this way, is that throughout the book, Suze has a number of pop songs. The titles and sections are titled with popular hit songs from the time period and that helps to set the setting for when the novel is taking place. In the audiobook version, the narrator would very often break into song, singing lyrics from, and that's probably what's in the written format of the book, of lyrics of popular songs, very often singing in character of characters who this song could be pertaining to, or this section would be pertaining to. And she wouldn't always do it well because she was in character. She was singing as that character. I saw the value of that in that it was reminding readers and setting the time period for when this novel and that section and chapter were taking place. It started becoming distracting, and even as the book went on, I found it to be annoying. But other people may not view it as that, and that is just me. That's just how it came across to me. I would recommend that you do pick up FlightLog. Totally enjoyed the book. I totally enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the writing. And I would recommend that you do pick up Sue's FlightLog, the novel adventures of a wannabe stewardess who grows into a flight attendant. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride.
And that concludes today's episode of Authors on iTours. This is Lauren Carr, and thank you very much for stopping by. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do be sure to like and subscribe so you can receive notifications of episodes every time we upload. Thank you very much for stopping by. In the meantime, happy reading.